Hi,
Good morning.
this is Kim and Andy read Urantia. We're glad to be with you today. I'm Kim.
I'm Andy.
Yeah,
First, we're going to read from Light the Flame
yeah.
by
Andrew Harvey.
Andrew Harvey.
And today's selection is by St. John Chrysostom. Chris, Chrysostom. Chrysostom.
Chrysostom.
Yeah. Okay, and he was a Byzantine Archbishop of Constantinople. He died in 407 AD.
Wow.
Okay, so go ahead.
May my heart absorb you, and you absorb my heart, so we two become one in blissful union. Yeah. If we all did that, wow.
It's very simple. Oh, yeah, put the marker in there. Yeah, so I absorb God and God absorbs me into God. Into everything. So that's how I start to care about everything. Okay, and then we're going to read from the Urantia book. Okay, so we've got paper 10, the Paradise Trinity. We read the introduction yesterday, and here we're going to read the first section. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. So, and we're talking about how the three of them work together and the how they're represented together. Yeah. Okay. I'll go.
Okay.
Okay. Section 1, self-distribution of the first source and center. It would seem that the Father, back in eternity, inaugurated a policy of profound self-distribution because he distributes himself through the thought adjusters, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is inherent in the selfless, loving, and lovable nature of the universal Father something which causes him to reserve to himself the exercise of only those powers and that authority which he apparently finds it impossible to delegate or to bestow. So he shares all his powers with everyone. That's because that's his nature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The universal Father all along has divested himself of every part of himself that was bestowable on any other creator or creature. He has delegated to his divine sons and their associated intelligences every power and all authority that could be delegated. He has actually transferred to his sovereign sons in their respective universes every prerogative of administrative authority that was transferable. Okay, so that actually implies that some things are not, too.
Right.
Keep that in mind. Yeah, and remember this doing this doesn't take anything away from the Father. So sharing these things doesn't take anything away from him. He still has the power to revoke whatever he gives. He still has, authority to intervene as he wants. He's number one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the affairs of a local universe, he has made each sovereign creator son just as perfect, competent, and authoritative as is the eternal Son in the original and central universe. He has given away, actually bestowed, with the dignity and sanctity of personality possession, all of himself and all of his attributes, everything he possibly could divest himself of, in every way, in every age, in every place, and to every person and in every universe except that of his central indwelling. Okay, so he gives these authorities away except in paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Where he reigns supreme.
Well, he reigns supreme, and everybody there is perfected anyway, so they're not in danger. They don't really need administration,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right. They're not developing still.
They're not developing, and they're perfected, so they don't err.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make mistakes there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Divine, I'll go one more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Divine personality is not self-centered. Self-distribution and sharing of personality characterize divine free will selfhood. Creatures crave association with other personal creatures. Creators are moved to share divinity with their universe children. The personality of the infinite is disclosed as the universal Father who shares reality of being and equality of self with two coordinate personalities, the eternal Son and the conjoint actor. So don't you feel that's true when you're a parent? You want to give everything to your children, to your child.
And we kind of do.
We kind of do. We reserve from them things that we think could hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's what he means. They mean here when they say that everything that is transferable.
Mm-hmm. And we try not to do everything for them.
We try not to do everything for them because they have to learn to do things themselves too.
They do have to learn. They have to develop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, you can go.
Foreknowledge concerning the Father's personality and divine attributes, we will always be dependent on the revelations of the eternal Son. For when the conjoint act of creation was effected, when the third person of deity sprang into personality existence and executed the combined concepts of his divine parents, the Father ceased to exist as the unqualified personality. With the coming into being of the conjoint actor and the materialization of the central core of creation, certain eternal changes took place. God gave himself as an absolute personality to his eternal Son. Thus does the Father bestow the personality of infinity upon his only begotten Son, while they both bestow the conjoint personality of their eternal union upon the infinite Spirit.
The conjoint personality of the eternal union.
Mm-hmm.
So the union, the person, that relationship between the Father and the Son kind of has its own essence, its own personality. And that's the manifestation of the infinite Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the best illustration I have for this here is that, okay, so I'm here, okay, and I can create something over here,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. But if I want to communicate with that thing that what I've created, there has to be a medium. There has to be something, the air, right? Because our voice travels through the air.
Right.
So there has to be a medium to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the essence of the infinite Spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Since the paradise sons of God visit the evolutionary worlds and sometimes even there dwell in the likeness of mortal flesh, and since these bestowals make it possible for mortal man actually to know something of the nature and character of divine personality, therefore must the creatures of the planetary spheres look to the bestowals of these paradise sons for reliable and trustworthy information regarding the Father, the Son, and the Spirit.
Okay, that's good. Did you read this paragraph? I don't think you did.
Oh, wait, did I miss?
I think you missed number 5.
Okay. For these and other reasons, beyond the concept of the finite mind, it is exceedingly difficult for the human creature to comprehend God's infinite Father personality, except as it is universally revealed in the eternal Son, and with the Son is universally active in the infinite Spirit. So, as Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life.
Right.
No one comes to the Father but through me.
Right. So the creator sons and the eternal Son are actually the representatives of the Father.
Right.
The personal representatives of the Father throughout the master universe.
You come to the Father through the Son.
Right.
My only critique would be that in our experience here on this sphere, it's the father and the mother that create the Son, not the father and the Son that create the mother. But
you know,
a minor point.
That's the interesting, you know, and I've thought of that. Yeah, I don't know if I have a good response to that. Yeah, but you know, they say the Son, in a lot of places in here, it'll say that the Son is like the mother,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Well, in any event, the Son and the Spirit, or the Son and the Mother, are not at the same level as the Father.
Okay, but you know, you have to think in terms of like, well, yeah, the Father, they call him the Father, but he's actually doesn't have gender. There's no gender there. Okay, that's just a social convention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in actuality, there's no gender there. And that first, it was like, okay, so if you're going to talk about genders and sexes, okay, that was like an asexual reproduction. Okay, so that was the first. So, right. So that first happened, then, so there could be, you know, the sexes or whatever. So very vaguely, even though, see, these things develop, you know, throughout evolution here, that the sexes, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But here on the spiritual level, I vaguely associate the Son with the masculine, with the directive force, with the yang, and the Spirit with the yin force, the potential. Okay, so in that way, yeah. So they don't really create the mother. Oh gosh, it's kind of like that just has to be there in order for them to have a relationship. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So don't think in terms of sex and coming together and literally the Son is the progeny of, you know what I mean? Like we have human relationships. This is beyond and above that. So the first division was really like the Son is like the perfect reflection or opposite of the Father, right? And in order for that to be here, it's like in terms of like the yin and the yang. Okay, first there's just the white, just smooth is God. So God condenses himself into the little white dot, or the white space, right, in the yin yang, not the dot, the white half of the yin yang, and then takes part of himself here out and puts it in the black part. Okay, so that white part, the essence is the same, but the orientation is different.
Right.
So now this Son here, or daughter, I don't care what it is, it's genderless here, but that's an asexual kind of a reproduction, right?
If you look at the yin yang symbol, it would
Okay.
make more sense.
Right. So now there has to be a way for this smaller, this dot to find its way back to the Father.
Right.
to its true essence.
Mhm.
And that is then through the turning of this wheel, this yin yang here,
Right.
right? So it turns and he's striving to go here. He's trying to be like, but it's always going away. But that's what drives everything.
Mhm.
Okay, is that desire for unity with the Father.
Right.
Okay?
Mhm.
Okay, so the Spirit then is the force that makes it, it's the wheel actually turning, that keeps that in balance. Okay?
Okay.
Right?
Mhm.
So that's on an impersonal scale. When I talk about deity absolute is not personal. So then this whole process is personalized. So then we give them names like Father and Son and Spirit to make them more personalizable, to make them understand them. Now on the divine level, on paradise level, all three are equal, and all conscious have equal conscious, just spraying into consciousness, or are springing into consciousness all the time. Okay, on the divine level here, right?
Right.
Okay, but on the lower level, the universe level here, okay,
Mhm.
the the sun, or the creator sun, is projected out here into the space here.
Mhm.
So, and because the yin represents the potential,
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm.
the action, he's acting on this potential that is this empty realm, this universe here.
Mhm.
And then so that then springs into consciousness
Mhm.
afterward. So see, potential, you have to have action before, I don't know. Yeah, but I know that they're equal. It says that they're equal. I'm just going to go with that, But which is primal? It does say that on the universe level that the creator sun is primal, primary,
Mhm.
even though the mother spirit is equal.
Mhm.
She is brought into consciousness by him acting on her physical form,
Mhm.
by his action upon her physical form. Like, the same thing, those sexist tropes where, the prince comes and kisses the princess, and she comes to life. Then it's kind of like that. So that adds something, I know, but yeah. But I want to rest on that, okay, and just say that's all right.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
That was a good explanation, I think.
Really?
Mhm.
I felt like I just went over and lost a lot. I don't know. I feel like I'm out of steam.
Oh, that was good.
Are you sure?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So I don't know if the people out here feel like that, but yeah. So it's just, and these things are almost outside of time. They're so big,
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's always bigger than we're thinking.
But the Father, it's important to know that the Father would not be able to relate to us at all, to be in our lives and in our minds, if not for the workings of the infinite spirit, and the,
Mhm. True.
and yeah,
Mhm.
and the eternal Son.
Mhm.
See, so this is how he became able to, or she, I don't care, you can call it she, let's call it she for now,
Mhm.
that's fine. um um was she wouldn't be able to realize her own nature and to be with us without these other two. Okay. So you have to kind of like separate it. It's related to like our traditional family roles in certain ways, but it's above that too.
Mhm.
Okay, I think we got to go. We're going to be late.
Yep, we gotta go.
All right. Okay, love you guys. Thank you for staying with us. All right.
Yep, bye now.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with,
Mhm.
you know,